¿Cómo estamos, el Paso? Entonces acomódense, por favor, porque no quiten. Aquí.
Just did a bump shot.
Make sure you get some tight shots of these Beto.
Test 1 2 1 2. Hey Bill, can you pull the scarf out? Sure. This is too hot.
Let me just take it off.
Yeah.
You want me to carry it?
Doesn't matter.
I'll be done.
I save my energy.
I like your drone.
Huh?
Get a little bit of mini drone. Sorry, man. He tries to fly that
How are you?
Trump MAGA, they're going to shoot him. Really?
We've got to use since our Paso last time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they're got the 24
Yeah.
minutes fine screen.
So, you weren't at real screen, so. But someone that looks a lot like me was at real screen.
What's that?
It's like a non-scripted TV.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get into that game. More into that game. But,
That's smart.
yeah.
When you didn't fuck up my best.
Like you've been to a few football games.
I might come join you.
Yeah, you should. Let's do a show. I'm serious. If you got a show idea, man, we can shoot a sizzle reel. Because I will go to next week's screen and pitch it. I'm serious.
Well, theoretically, you've got plenty of battery. Your life is good, so you shouldn't have. But I'll be standing by. I'll be lagging behind a little bit, but I'll be up there with the bat if you need it. Now.
Check. White balance.
Check.
Got it.
Yeah, we got lots of white, man.
Shoot some MLS. If you can sign before tomorrow morning, you should go do
MLS. It's like work live or something?
it. No,
Like interviews with random.
Oh, man on the street. Well, I guess after our live deal, we gotta catch a flight.
No, we mean like tonight, but during the rally.
Oh,
But during this stuff.
yeah, I mean, once I get a white balance and it's dark and I know the color temperature. Yeah, exactly. There's tons of white around here. It's not gonna be a problem. I'm trying to save my energy a little. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, well, let's try to see if we can just do it.
get him out of the way. Good call. Good pick.
I should be holding that the other way around, huh? There we go. The sign was handed to me,
AZ
so...
results. Are you from Arizona? Or
No, I'm from New Mexico, but I did come special for the rally.
So can I ask you a couple questions?
Oh, yeah.
You came from New Mexico.
I came from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
What made this worth the drive?
Oh, I love Beto O'Rourke, and I can't stand Trump.
What message are you hoping that this all sends to the president tonight?
Well, we definitely don't need the wall. You know, El Paso is safe, and what he said, you know, that it was, you know, not safe, he's totally wrong. So.
You mentioned Beto. What should he do with the rest of his life?
Well, I do believe that he should run for president in 2020. He'll definitely beat Trump.
What do you think that would represent? What would a Beto candidacy represent for you?
He's all for the people. He's all for the people. Trump is for himself. And he's all for the entire country and the entire world. So I think he'll make a better place for us to live.
Thank you so much. Tell me your name, please.
Gloria Ontiveros.
Can you spell your last name?
Ontiveros.
From Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I ask you a quick question? Yes. Can I just grab your phone number just in case you ever...
Okay.
I got it right here.
Gloria. I am from El Paso.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm from El Paso. Yes. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
We're just gonna test it real quick. Yeah, thanks.
Hey.
Oh man, are you guys MSNBC?
Yeah, can we interview you?
God, yes, I live for you. I want to be Stephanie Rule's best friend.
Stephanie Roll's best friend right here. Tell me your name, please.
My name's Maureen Hogan. I'm a registered nurse. I used to work in McAllen. I took care of these undocumented children that were from Central America in 2012. We had a coordinated effort between the United States, Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. And we had a satellite dish there at Lackland Air Force Base, about 10,000 kids. We'd get 360 kids a day.
Jeez.
And we took care of them. We had a control center and we sent them to their uncle in Michigan or Nebraska, and that's all we did. We didn't put them in cages in prison, you know.
So tell me, do you live in El Paso now, or
I came here today from San Antonio.
you drove in from San Antonio, or did you fly?
I flew because I was, this is a campaign story, I was knocking on doors and the lady was 75, Olga Brown, and she heard on Facebook last night that I was going to drive from San Antonio 9 hours, so she called me and said, I'm giving you freaking flyer miles, and I flew.
That's amazing. So why was it so important for you to be here today?
Oh, because this is like so violent, so inhumane, to separate children from their parents, the border wall, all of it is, well, mainly because we have a president with, I believe, frontal lobe deterioration. That's my diagnosis. But
You've got not one but two different items of Beto paraphernalia here. Do you want Beto to run for Senate in 2020 or something
no,
else?
but I just had it. I mean, I was working for his campaign for Senate.
What would you like to see him do in 2020?
Gun control, health care, keep Medicare and
No, I mean Beto. Do you want to see him? Do you want to see him run for
Oh,
president?
yeah, I do. Oh, I think he's going to announce tonight.
You do?
I don't know how he could not.
Yeah?
If I was Beto's campaign person, I'd say, oh, well, that guy's across the street, and he's a rock star.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
So is it a missed opportunity if he doesn't announce tonight?
Oh, no, no. Somebody said, oh, they didn't want him to weaken the message, the real message. Whatever.
So what does he bring to the table as a presidential candidate?
Well, the number one thing Doris Kearns Goodwin says you have to have is empathy. He's got it. This guy. I'm live streaming this. Isn't that crazy? I'm so
This is so meta right now.
Did you see this?
I like that a lot. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I was babysitting that night.
Well, I was not bored.
What time do you come on? I forgot.
We're on all the time. All right.
No, I know you are, but you.
Me? All the time.
Okay.
You name it. I'm on. I don't sleep.
Tell me
This is
your
what I
name
do.
again.
I'm Garrett. Tell me your name again.
Maureen Hogan.
Thank you.
Like Hulk Hogan.
All right, we're done here. Thank you.
All
I
right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. I love you.
Fun on here.
Tell Stephanie Rule and Katie Kerr. I love them. Oh, I love them. Actually, since I retired, I'm afraid I'm now in England because all I do is watch them. I'm gonna start shooting. What's your name? Yes. 210.
Battery's still good.
0773. And I'm Maureen Hogan, like Hulk Hogan from San Antonio. From San Antonio. All right. And I really did take care of these kids in San Antonio in 2012. There was like a nursing agency called and said, man, they great. They had nurses from Pennsylvania, Missouri, all over the country. And we took care of those kids when we got here. I mean, you were aware of the fact that it used to be like that, right? Y'all know what's up, don't you? I mean, don't you know? Like,
You guys wish you one more?
he is so.
We're gonna do one more quick interview.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. I just really like your song.
Thank you.
All right.
White balance.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll start with an easy question just to get you warmed up. Tell me your name and spell it so I don't screw it up.
Bridget O'Malley, BRIDGET OMALLEY.
Okay, hang on. We're going to get this light right. That's okay.
Can you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, it's Bridget O'Malley, BRIDGET OMALLEY.
And you came in from Austin. Did you drive from Austin today?
I did. We did a 2-day drive. We stopped in for.
That's okay. You spent 2 days driving here to be here for this rally. Why?
Because it's really important to me. My parents grew up in El Paso, and I have a lot of family that lives here. And I don't want Trump to spread the wrong message about El Paso. And I want to be a part of this because this is important to me.
What do you want the president to take away from what he sees from all y'all out here tonight?
I want him to take away that immigrants aren't like bad people. They're not like malicious. They don't have malicious intent. They're people who are trying to provide better lives for their families. And I want him to see that.
Tell me about your sign.
My sign says build bridges, not walls. I think it's important that instead of like setting up a wall, we establish a better connection between us and Mexico.
I can't help but notice that it also says Beto 2020.
It does, and this sign says Beto for president.
So, what makes you think he'd be a good president?
I just really agree with all of his border policies, his healthcare policies. I just agree with everything his campaign has been about. And I just think he's someone that everybody can get behind, everybody can agree with. So.
All right. There you go. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Appreciate it. You were great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, the sun's almost gone. She's got a white sign. Let me borrow this white sign.
Can you get?
Texas. It's like it's in Austin. It's about 20 minutes north of Austin.
3,200. Wow.
Hey. H-A-A-K-A. Oh, it is weird.
Everything's blue if it's not in the sun.
I don't know what the heck.
Alright, let's go do this.
Tell me how you got here.
By a very large aircraft, but no.
Tell me your background.
Emigrated here from the Netherlands. I was living in Europe, and my job brought me here, and I stayed.
How did your experience as an immigrant inform your opinion on all this?
The process is so antiquated, so difficult. You know, being English speaking, I had a slight advantage. I could manage the forms, manage the processes, and I had a company to sponsor me, to get me an attorney, and jump the queue effectively. But it still took me years to go through the visa process to become a resident and then finally a citizen. And the process is designed to stop people from becoming citizens.
The process is its own wall.
Exactly. It is the biggest wall. This is not the big wall.
You live here in El Paso now?
I live here in Colorado.
Okay, so what is the message that you want the president to take away from what he's going to see here tonight?
Focus on the immigration problem. And the problem is within the system. It isn't about walls. It's not about caravans and border issues. It is really around, you know, we're all immigrants, one way or another, whether it be 1, 2, 3 or generations. The process is so hard to be here legally that it makes an illegal immigration problem. We're actually creating the problem.
You talked to me, you've got your Beto hat on. Is he somebody who you'd like to see run for president?
Not necessarily yet. I did support him during the Senate race, but I think he's got to get a few more years of experience. Wonderful guy, would do the job really well. I'm not sure 2020 is the right timing, but a lot of things in his favor. You know, the fact he can reach across aisles, doesn't call people names, and has, in my mind, a lot more presidential qualities than the incumbent. So, you know.
Great.
So that's why the hat.
Fabulous. Thank you. That's all I need. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Can I ask you a quick question?
good. I want to see the 445 here. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Behind now. On the side. Yeah.
Well, where they go now? Hey, my daughter, put the ball in your pocket. Bye, Felicia.
Gotta go faster.
Alright, let's do this. Right behind you.
I spotted your son. I wanted to come ask you some questions.
All right, so very good.
All right, fantastic. Just look at me when you answer.
All right.
You want your sunglasses on or off?
That's okay. I'll get them off or take
You take them off if you don't mind.
No problem.
Start with some easy ones. Just tell me your name, please, and spell it for me.
My name is Henry Osegueda. It's Ocegueda.
And where are you from?
I'm here from El Paso, Texas, born and raised.
Why'd you want to be out here and be a part of this tonight?
Oh, well, you know, it's we got to send a message that, you know, what Trump believes in, this wall, really doesn't help anybody. You know, this community has been here long before a wall was here. And so, you know, we're part of this area that's called the borderlands, and that's what we believe in. We believe in having the right to come across, do whatever we want, you know, and now we have a president that doesn't like what we're doing here, and so then he has the audacity to lie that we're dangerous. How dare he?
Yeah, what goes through your head when you hear the president say, "Oh, El Paso is this dangerous city, and it's terrible, and it's a good thing they built this wall, or it would be a pit"?
It's pretty obvious that, you know, he doesn't know this area. He doesn't know what's going on. You know, there's I guess 39% of the people that believe in what he's saying. You know, but they're not being represented by Trump. He's a billionaire. They're not. You know, we relate to them more than anybody. We're poor just like the people in Ohio, just like the people in up north, you name it. And so I don't understand that. You know, we are all Americans. We have strong values. We go to work. We respect people. You know, that's what we are, and that's all we're trying to do is prove to him that this is an American area, and that we don't need the walls.
Do you think the president understands what this community is about?
Well, you know, no, I don't. No, I don't. Unfortunately, I think he's still in his little hole there in New York. He's from New York. Never comes out of his little tower, you know. But it's time that he needs to come out here and take a look. You know, now that he's going to be only about 100 yards away from us, you know, hopefully he can look around and say, hey, it's not a bad area. You know, yeah, it's a little windy. Maybe he won't come out.
What do you think of your local boy done good, Beto O'Rourke? Do you think he should run for president?
Well, I'll tell you what. No, I really think maybe he needs to wait out a little bit more. Maybe do the Senate again one more time. Even though I am from El Paso and he himself is from El Paso, I think there's some big Democrat names out there. You know, Kamala Harris. Well, even Biden. I hope Biden jumps in. I really do.
What do you want to see, generally speaking, from whoever does decide to run against Trump?
Well, I'm hoping that they bring the nation together. Right now, it's too divided. You know, we do have, you know, it looks like not only Republicans against Democrats, but also, you know, the races. We're not as close as we ought to be. You know? Being in the military, we're one team, one fight. Here, it looks like Trump is trying to divide us, and I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm hoping that the Democrat nominee will bring that out and tell them, hey, look, we're one America. You know, we want to make America great again. Well, it's one America. It's not. You know, you don't have to call us terrorists. You know.
We're not rapists or terrorists or anything like that. We're Americans with strong working values, strong American values. No, this borderland is here, like I said before, long before there was a border. So we've had those values of dignity and respect for humans.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why you see a lot of these human rights networks here. They're trying to tell them the same story.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really
All right,
appreciate it.
thanks.
Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it.
We're in Washington all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I'm Garrett.
SNBC or
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Tell Rachel Maurer how hi.
Will do.
And Lauren.
Report out of here. Hopefully these street lights will kick on.
Yeah, a lot of street lights.
It's like this thing's going
I'm from
this
Texas.
way. It's growing.
They sent you down there?
I volunteer.
Oh, you volunteer?
You gotta just go in there and sit down and rest your feet for a few minutes, and then we have to walk.
I forgot your name.
Garrett.
We're actually from New Jersey, which is helping me visit here.
Happen to be here this time.
So I figured, hey, there's a protest. Why not?
Right.
I'm always on Twitter. Oh, it's the guy from El Paso.
Plus the temperature's dropped.
Yeah. The old steroids.
Go.
Oh, but look at this. Look at this.
I'm trying to mix it up.
You got it? You got it? You got it?
If you ever see Rachel,
Yeah.
tell her she's our
I don't know. It's just
She's gonna fly off.
This is already like too cold for me.
Well, you know, even though
They're stacked in the back of the line.
down to
They get big, that's what it is. That's it, that's what it is. We're behind.
There we go. Get started.
Yeah, I got
I got your back. Watch out, man. It's okay.
Copy. Live shot at the end of the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah, top of the 8 is what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm in the 7, that's different.
Top of the 8 is in 10 minutes.
And the hardball.
Wait, are we doing her?
And the
That
hardball.
me or just a live shot from you?
Is it just a live shot for me or a scared on? Is it just
What's up, dude?
a shot of the protesters? That's all we got. What time we got? You got a picture?
Yeah, we'll do it later.
I'll get a couple of you.
Smell for one. Get in it, man.
Oh yeah, here we go. There it is.
Top of the hours are in a live shot. So any other time, we're going to get on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about Ames.
I guess.
I'm saying when they hit gets near top of the hour and a hard ball.
Hey, ho ho! The wall has got to go!
Because they're not really supposed to.
That's kind of the main things that man, that sun's gonna go down right during that light. Take, I don't know, push my white balance. Yeah, I think so.
Let me hold it.
Oops, light's gonna change.
Todavía no podemos empezar.
Gotta get to the left. I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm back.
That guy on TV,
No,
right?
that's my brother. He's taller.
Yeah, it's just like, where are they going?
They're probably waiting till it's 5:52.
It is what it is. I'm just gonna have a shot. I should probably be right here.
They never did the thing back.
Crossing to the other side.
Samantha? There was three. Yeah,
No?
Pretty cool.
Are you
I can see it. I gotta say, just for a second, it's pretty cool. Lucky, he was lucky.
We doing this now? Should I be in there with him?
Well, this is just a buckshot. Hardball.
Yeah.
But, get him, man.
They're going to start marching in 7 minutes.
How much time we got?
Wait a minute, this is it.
Down to 38 PL. It's all the 38 PL. It's different line copy.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. We'll do. We're gonna hang on.
Okay, whenever you're ready, I'll tell you what the number is. You ready to dial in?
Hold on. All right, what is it?
212-664-6301.
Hey, New York, I got you. Standing by. Yes, I can.
Bridge. RF1 is we're RF1. Got it.
Explícales acá porque no quieren Get my sign.
What's that?
Hit this side.
Nice.
That's fine.
People want to know who we are, so we tell them, we are the border, mighty, mighty border, the mighty, mighty border, fighting for justice, and liberation,
Hey, this is
everywhere we go.
I want to change cards.
People want to know
When?
who we are.
Cards real quick. Hold on.
Fighting for justice. We are El Paso. Fighting for justice.
It's a good 20-minute walk. We got this.
Want me to wait for them to catch up?
The speakers are up front. The speakers are up front. The speakers are up front. Everybody else follow behind. Somebody! And I deserve equality. Right now.
Pero estás con ustedes. Already got a job.
Yeah, I got some. It's when we were getting like pushed back and punched. And then like the people in the queue that wouldn't move, so I'm like, sorry. Is that the song? There you
I couldn't wait for them to come up. I'll be stuck in there. You want me to? Couldn't wait to Save my energy. Save my energy for a minute.
Go grab him when we can, and then I'll. Okay. All right.
Looking
All right.
I would say where the cameras are, but.
Will never be divided.
Guys, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Dale.
Never be divided. Unidos, jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
He's gonna be surrounded if he is. I'm gonna try to grab him.
You're gonna jump right in. Like, no, you should do it. You should do it. You should go like straight. Like, yeah, it's only diving in the cut.
The two tallest people here.
Yeah, let's just do it. We'll do it together. It's like dive in, just throwing people out of the way. That's my first bit. Just throwing people. I was a ball bouncer once.
Well, it's our last trip to El Paso.
Not a very good one.
Let's see if we can get up in there.
There he is.
All right. I know. It's hard.
Beto! Beto! Hey man, how are you?
Keep moving, let's keep moving.
Yeah. Is this everything you thought it would be so far?
I'm so proud of this community. This is what counts. Eyes are on us right now. No one tells our story better than we do. And to the lies that the president offered in his State of the Union about El Paso being dangerous before a wall, we're the living proof that this is a safe community because we're good to each other. We treat one another with respect, with dignity. This is powerful. This is positive. This is peaceful. This is the best of the country.
We're walking fast, but I hear a lot of people tweeting about running. I mean, where are you on that decision?
I ran this morning about 3 miles. And feel awesome.
Thank you.
Any idea?
Thank you.
No, right now we're focused on El Paso and the border and telling our story.
Thank you.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you for being here.
Let's keep them up. Sorry. We gotta get out this. Thanks, guys. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Beto! 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 Beto for president! Beto!
I lost a few of them. That's what I'm going to do. That's it. That's I knew how it was going to be. Hey, Paso over here. Yeah, Paso over here. With the baby one. Yeah, perfect. Should we try to do one of the things? No, I think it's like.
Wrap it live. He can wrap it live while he's walking. Okay, so you just want to use the soundbite, okay? No rap. Say that again. Okay. All right, so that's it. All right, thank you.
Also, did we lose Bill? So they're not using us live? Okay, I'm gonna hang up this IFB then.
They're gonna use that sound. They're cutting it right down.
Great.
Yeah. They want us to do live pictures at the top of that.
That's fine. So we should shoot this Today Show thing.
Yeah, let's shoot this now.
What do they want? I can't even get that email. It's like just flavor, right? It's a message to the president, put on by a whole city, but there's clearly one star.
Today's planning on. Okay, Hallie is filing from the border fence. 12 to 15 seconds without the self-intro. She will start up in the script. We like any good color / atmospheric. The main message throughout. They can be done during the speech. So there's a lot of action behind it.
Okay, so let's get in the mix again a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll just show the big crowd around. Jock, you ready to shoot another thing for us here?
And then Hallie said it was going to do something like O'Rourke's counter rally, setting up a split screen moment with our team to bring it all.
Yeah. So I'll say this mile-long march in the shadow of the border fence is meant to be a celebration of El Paso, a protest, and a message to the president.
Is he walk and talk?
Yeah, but I want to be in the crowd. So.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. Let's just walk and do it, okay? Kai, you got us back? Ready? Kai, you got him? 3, 2, go. This mile-long march in the shadow of the border was meant to be a celebration of El Paso, a protest, and a message to the president of El Paso and saying, stop lying about this community. It's a bunch of different groups putting this on, but there's clearly one star. Beto O'Rourke behind me, the crowd chanting, run, Beto, run. And they don't mean for Senate.
Come on, keep it moving.
Good. Let's do one more. Get like a couple steps ahead. Are you ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2. This mile-long march in the shadow of the border fence is meant to be a celebration of El Paso, a protest, and a message to the president. There are several different community groups putting this on, but there is also one clear star. Beto O'Rourke surrounded by a crowd behind me with folks chanting, "Run, Beto, run." And they don't mean for Senate.
I saw you earlier. Yeah, I was recording a couple of times. I read actually,
Oh, nice.
yeah, welcome to El Paso.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
For this. Let's keep going. Find a spot, let them pass us.
Slower, but we'll try not to get run over here. Okay. I'm going to keep my hand here just so we keep in the shot together.
Okay.
All right, let's start with an easy question. Tell me your name.
Simon Jimenez.
Yeah, where are you from, Simon?
El Paso, Texas. Proud El Paso, Texas.
Why was it important for you to be out here tonight?
I think we can stop this rhetoric, especially about El Paso. I lived here all my life. El Paso is a very safe city. So why the lies? Why?
What goes through your head when you hear the president talk about your city?
It makes me feel very bad because you know what? It affects all of us. For him to lie like that about our city, that we know and love and know it's safe.
You're hearing a lot of these chants for Beto back here. What do you think about him?
I think he's an option.
An option?
Yeah, sure.
That's not a ringing endorsement.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people running, which is great. Beto, of course, being from El Paso, would be wonderful. I mean, yeah, sure.
Would you like to see him run?
I think so, yes. I think we need someone like Beto to really, you know, someone new, with new ideas. And I know Beto for a long time here as a city council, and then as a congressman, and he's always there for us, always.
Let me ask you this. I'm a Texan too. Do you think people who live out in the rest of the country really understand what goes on down here? What goes on down along the border?
No, they don't. No, they don't. All they believe is what they hear. You know, when they hear lies, they believe lies. You know, so hopefully this demonstration will show the United States that we are united. We're safe. You know, have you been safe when you've been here?
I've been perfectly safe.
Okay, so.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Enjoy your night.
That was great.
Who are you with, by the way? Huh? I recognize that. Say hi to Rachel.
Can I grab your phone real quick, just in case we ever need to grab you again?
526. 3106.
915-526-3106.
kind of joy also.
What's your
that? No, it's fine. I feel bad. I mean, there's nothing we can do. Like, we gotta move. I hate to leave a man behind, you know. I'm gonna march into these protest marches.
Hey, Bill.
Sure.
You want to stay up here for a little bit and wait?
Yeah.
Jack?
Sure.
Garrett's back there. Let's wait. We don't have to keep on. We got a lot of time.
That's supposed to sound off the way.
Alright, to the camera.
Woo! Trump's a criminal! El Paso, united! We'll never be divided! El Paso, united! We'll never be divided! El Paso! Paso, united!
No walls! No walls! Hey, Nana!
Someone like the hospital, like just like reading it.
Too bad with this is.
While we're at it,
Were you looking for Bill?
Bill's gone now, unfortunately.
Well, if they get lost, say go back to the dance.
Yeah, go to the truck. All right.
Like we just hanging out. Which is like great,
That's
yeah.
how you do it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to run into
Yes,
you.
no,
It's funny to
absolutely.
listen to you in random spots across America.
Shall we get
What are you
coffee
doing?
back up? Although I can hold on.
news stations?
NBC News.
Oh, really?
Right on. Pretty intense. Pretty cool.
Are you going up inside or are you just going to get the protests and stuff? So if we stick by you, we're going to be on the news tonight? You guys don't care about all that? Let's just stick by these guys. They got a camera. It'll be on video.
Yeah. All I gotta do is this. Point it backwards.
Should I just do it selfie style?
Yeah. You want to?
Yeah. Hello from the March for the Truth. It's about a mile walk from the high school where this rally started to the baseball field where it will end. It's a mix of celebration of El Paso, protest, a lot of anger at President Trump for lying about El Paso. It's hard to say. El Paso is remote, but I mean that in the best way. It's a unique community. It's all the way out here by itself for the most part, and people have a ton of civic pride. And the idea that the president would talk about their city, hey, great, that he would lie about it, it's totally unacceptable. So you've got people out here, I think, would never have been caught dead in a protest march who wanted to be part of this tonight. And we'll see what happens when we get to the final location.
Sweet.
Did I get that about right? Yeah, no, that's a lot. Okay, that's a good. Yeah, I know, that was a big deal.
Y aunque te amo con locura, ya no vuelvas. Paloma gente, vamos a ponernos a bailar. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Hey, hey, hey, hey! ¡Oh, oh, 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 oh! ¡Que se oigan esas palmas! ¡Hey, hey, hey, hey! Loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar el mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco. El mariachi loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar el mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco. A ver todos, 1, 2, 3, a bailar. 3, 2, 1. El mariachi loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar el mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco. Chiquiti bomba la bim bomba, chiquiti bomba la bim bomba. A la bio, a la bao, a la bim bomba, a la bio, a la bao, a la bim bomba. Baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura, baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura, baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura, el meneíto suavecito. Baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura, baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura, baila el meneíto que es la pura sabrosura. A ver, para que se nos quite el frío.
Y cuando ella baila cumbia, el que la ve se enamora. Yo tengo una yaquecita que quise mucho en Sonora. Y cuando ella baila cumbia, el que la ve se enamora.
Ay, mi yaquecita, ay, mi yaquecita.
Tú tienes tu cuerpo hermoso que parece sirenita.
Ay, mi yaquecita, ay, mi yaquecita.
Tú tienes tu cuerpo hermoso que parece sirenita. Échenle.
Y a ver que se oigan esas palmas. ¡Eh, eh, eh! ¡Órale, raza, a bailar!
Y dicen pues que te traes, hombre Johnny. Y yo le contesto a todos que yo me caso con Johnny. Y todos los yaquis dicen pues que te traes, hombre Johnny. Y yo le contesto a todos que yo me caso con Johnny.
Ay, mi yaquecita, ay, mi yaquecita.
Tú tienes tu cuerpo hermoso que parece sirenita.
Ay, mi yaquecita, ay, mi yaquecita.
Tú tienes tu cuerpo hermoso que parece sirenita. Cumbia.
Ya llegó, ya llegó. Ya llegó Sergio el bailador. Llegó Sergio el bailador. Ya llegó Sergio el bailador. De Palabama San Nicolás. Ya llegó Sergio el bailador. Bailar jalao le gusta más. Ya llegó Sergio el bailador. Es un buen amigo, nunca es presumido y mete a los bailes botellas de vino. Ese bailador tiene corazón y es enamorado, pero de a montón. loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar pero no hay pareja, quiere bailar pero no hay pareja. El mariachi loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar pero no hay pareja, quiere bailar pero no hay pareja. Ahora sí, muévelo, 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 muévelo. Un, dos, tres, muévelo, 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 muévelo. Tenemos un niño perdido, por favor, si se pueden fijar por ahí. Si lo pueden, si lo hayan, por favor, que lo traigan para acá. Perdón, está aquí en el escenario. ¿De quién es este niño hermoso? ¿Quién perdió a este niño? Recuerden que estamos aquí para marchar por paz y no por paredes. Estamos aquí por la verdad. Bueno, ahí les va una canción para que se pongan a llorar. I am totally geeking out up here. Bueno, ¿listos para llorar, sí o no? Ahí les va una de Vicente. Un momentito, por favor, ahí disculpen.
Bueno, la mamá del niño perdido, por favor, venga al stage, aquí lo tenemos, acérquense al stage.
Bueno, parece que ya llegó el presidente. Por allá se oye. Así es que ahí les dedicamos esta canción. Ahí le dedicamos esta canción al presidente.
¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!
mexicana, nacida en esta tierra, en este hermoso suelo que es mi linda nación. Mi México querido, qué linda es mi bandera, si alguno la mancilla le parto el corazón. ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! ¡Viva! ¡Oh suelo bendito de Dios! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! ¡Viva! Mi sangre por ti daré yo. ¡Ay, ay, ay! Soy pura mexicana y nunca me he dejado. Si quieren informarse, la historia les dirá que México es valiente y que nunca se ha rajado. ¡Viva la democracia y también la libertad! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! ¡Viva! ¡Oh suelo bendito de Dios! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! Mi sangre por ti daré yo. Y que viva la verdad también, sí señor. Soy pura mexicana y por eso estoy dispuesta, si México lo quiere, que tenga que pelear. Mi vida se la ofrezco, que al cabo me la ha dado, y como buen soldado yo se la quiero dar. ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! ¡Viva! ¡Oh suelo bendito de Dios! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva América! ¡Viva! Mi sangre por ti daré yo. ¡Sí, señor! Bueno, nos vamos a despedir con esta canción que se la dedicamos a Beto O'Rourke. The one politician who has inspired me to believe once again that there are good politicians out there. Muchísimas gracias, nos despedimos con esta.
Que tendrás que llorar.
Llorar y llorar, llorar y llorar.
Dirás que no me quisiste, pero vas a estar muy triste y así te vas a quedar. Con dinero y sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero. Palabras la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me mantenga, pero sigo siendo el rey. rodar.
Rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar.
Después me dijo un arriero que no hay que llegar primero, pero hay que saber llegar. Con dinero y sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero. Y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me mantenga, pero sigo siendo el rey.
Muchísimas gracias.
Ileana Holguin, and I am the chair of the local Democratic Party here in El Paso, and I am so proud to be here with all of you tonight in our beautiful city of El Paso, which is and has been one of the safest cities in the country, no matter what anyone says. Before we get started, I just want to say some really quick thank yous. I want to thank our wonderful local musicians for coming out and donating their time and their talent to us. I want to thank Shaka Toki, Cristina Gurola, Mariachi Femenil Flores Mexicanas. Thank you. And we're going to also have some great, great music afterwards, so please stay. I also want to thank the organizations that put this entire event together. I want to give a huge thank you to the Women's March El Paso. Another huge thank you to Border Network for Human Rights. And of course, a thank you to the local Democratic Party and our wonderful ASL interpreters. Thank you. So I am truly honored to be here tonight to introduce our very special guest, even though he needs no introduction. We all know him because we saw him travel tirelessly to every single one of Texas's 254 counties because he wanted to hear directly from as many Texans as possible what he could do to help them make their families' lives better. We all know him because we saw him stand up for our veterans every single day that he was in Congress to make sure that they receive the care that they need, because they, more than anyone, have sacrificed so much for our great country. We all know him because he showed us that it is possible to be incredibly passionate about an issue and still be able to talk and listen to each other with compassion. And lastly, we all know him because we still see him to this day stand up for our city, for our border community, never ever failing to push back on the false narrative that the border is anything but a safe, vibrant, and wonderful place to live, made stronger because of our history of welcoming immigrants. And lastly, we all know him because he is our hometown hero and our tireless advocate. Please help me give a loud El Paso welcome to our very own Beto O'Rourke.
You did good, El Paso. Let's hear it for Mariachi Femenil Flores Mexicanas. Awesome. For Ileana Holguin. And all of the amazing organizers who made this possible, whose lead we follow tonight, the Border Network for Human Rights, Annunciation House, Las Americas, Women's March El Paso, and the best member of Congress this community has ever seen, Veronica Escobar. A couple of years ago, she honored a true El Paso hero. The county commissioner's court, at a time that this president promised to build walls along the 2,000-mile U.S.-Mexico border, they decided to build and dedicate a new bridge that would connect our two countries. Between Tornillo and Guadalupe, they named that bridge after a heroic veteran, Marcelino Serna. More than 100 years ago, he came to this country from Chihuahua, an undocumented immigrant. And at the time that this country entered the First World War, Marcelino Serna entered this country's army. His drill instructor said, "Serna, you do not have to go. Every single man in this unit will be going to France, but not every single one of them will be coming back home, at least not alive." And Serna said, "This is my fight because this is my country." And Marcelino Serna came back the most highly decorated veteran from the state of Texas in all of World War I. The park next to this one is named for the men of Company E. In World War II, these young men formed an all-Mexican-American unit. Many of them volunteered directly from the senior high classrooms at Bowie High School. Los Osos Orgullosos. And those men served this country with honor and distinction. In North Africa, in Italy, in France, those men made a stand for this country. They brought back honor and distinction, not just to Bowie High School, not just to El Paso, but to the United States of America. And today, we honor their sacrifice, their service, and their commitment to this country. Many of them paying the full price, the ultimate sacrifice for the United States of America and their little brothers. Some of you know this story. In 1949, the state of Texas decided that it would hold the first statewide high school boys baseball championship. And under the guidance of Nemo Herrera, the Bowie Bears decided to enter that competition, though not a single member of that team had 2 pennies to rub together. Their mothers made their uniforms, the gloves with which they played, but they won the city championship. And on the road to Austin, Texas, where the state championship would be played, though their brothers served in that Second World War, though some of their brothers did not come back, at the hotels and motels and restaurants along the way, they were met by signs that said, "No Mexicans or dogs allowed." But they did not allow that to deter them or to dampen their pride or their commitment to excellence in bringing back glory and honor to this community and this country, sleeping under the bleachers next to the field on which they would compete the next day. Those Bowie Bears woke up, won the game, came back to this community, making us a little more proud, a little more grateful for who we are, deepening our understanding as Americans of what this country means to all of us. You know the story of Thelma White, who graduated in 1954 from the all-black Douglas High School here in El Paso, Texas, because that was the only place that she was allowed to go to high school in El Paso, Texas, had the audacity to try to enroll at Texas Western College and was denied entry solely because of the color of her skin. She did not allow that injustice to deter her or to dampen her spirits, enlisting the services of a little-known attorney named Thurgood Marshall. They took that case all the way to the federal courtroom of R.E. Thomason, another great El Pasoan, and together making their stand for this community,
They integrated higher education for every single American in the state of Texas. Whether it was those great El Pasoans and great Americans, or Nolan Richardson and Bert Williams, who working together wrote the ordinance that desegregated places of public accommodation in El Paso, one of the first, if not the first cities in the former Confederacy to do so. All of them made a stand together for El Paso, for this country, not just for themselves, not just for people who looked like them, not just with the generation with whom they lived. They did it for everyone, including those of us who stand here today, the beneficiaries of their courage and of the stand that they made. That is our opportunity at this moment. With the eyes of the country upon us, all of us together are going to make our stand. Here, in one of the safest cities in the United States of America. Safe, not because of walls, but in spite of walls. Secure, because we treat one another with dignity and respect. That is the way that we make our communities and our country safe. Aquí podemos mostrar que si queremos asegurar nuestras comunidades, necesitamos tratar cada persona con dignidad, con respeto, como merecen, como humanos. Here, in the largest binational community in the Western Hemisphere, 2.5 million people from 2 countries, speaking 2 languages, with 2 cultures and 2 histories, who come together, are joined, not separated by the Rio Grande River, forming something far greater and more powerful than the sum of people or the sum of our parts. We have so much to give, so much to show the rest of the country, and we're doing it right now. Here, a city that has been one of the safest in the United States of America for 20 years and counting, safe long before a wall was built here in 2008. In fact, a little less safe after that wall was built. We can show the rest of the country as we make our stand here together tonight that walls do not make us safer. Walls will require us to take someone's property, their house, their farm, their ranch, to build a wall at a time of record low northbound apprehensions, at a time that El Paso is not the outlier in the cities of the border. In fact, if you look at McAllen, if you look at San Diego, if you look at all points in between, the U.S. cities of the U.S.-Mexico border are far safer than the U.S. cities deeper in the interior of the United States of America. We know that walls do not save lives. Walls end lives. In the last 10 years, more than 4,000 children, women, and men have died trying to come to this country, to work jobs that no one will take, to be with a family member, to flee horrific brutality and violence and death in their home countries. And as we build these walls, 600 miles of the 2,000-mile border walled up and counting, we push them to ever more treacherous and remote stretches of the U.S.-Mexico border, thereby ensuring greater suffering and death. We stand for America, and we stand against walls. We know that there is no bargain in which we can sacrifice some of our humanity to gain a little more security. We know that we deserve and will lose both of them if we do. We stand for the best traditions and values of this country, for our fellow humanity and who we are when we are at our best. And that's El Paso, Texas. I'm glad the country's here to see us. We stand for the Constitution of the United States of America and against emergency national security declarations that would allow the president to subvert an equal branch of government, build a wall when we do not need it, 1.6 million apprehensions the first year of the George W. Bush administration, a little more than 300,000 apprehensions last year. And you know who we are apprehending? Kids, children. If they are lucky, they're there with their moms or dads, walking 2,000 miles. If they're lucky, atop, not inside of a train known as the Beast or La Bestia, surviving every manner of depredation, and those who prey on human misery. And here, at their most vulnerable and desperate moment, they want to make sure that they have found the right place. That 243 years into this great experiment and idea that is America, we will not take advantage of them. We will not send them back to certain death. We will not believe that walls can or should keep them out. Instead, we welcome them with open arms. This, the wealthiest, the most powerful country on the face of the planet, can meet this moment in our obligations to one another and be all the stronger for it. We together, we are making a stand for the truth against lies and hate and ignorance and intolerance. We are going to show the country who we are. A president who describes Mexican immigrants as rapists and criminals. We have the chance to tell him and the country, immigrants commit crimes, including violent crimes, at a lower rate than do Americans who were born in this country. El Paso has been the safest city in the United States of America, not in spite of the fact that we're a city of immigrants, but because we are a city of immigrants. We're going to make a stand to ensure that we live up to our promise, to our potential, and to our purpose as a country. So it's not just those things that we are against and which we must stop, like this wall. It is also the things that we want to replace that with, those things which we are for. Number one, let's make sure that as they leave the deadliest places on the planet, that we make way and make room for those asylum seekers who are coming to this country. Meet our obligations under U.S. and international law and do the right thing. Two, let's ensure that no dreamer ever again fears deportation from this, their home country. Make every single one of them U.S. citizens so that they can contribute to their full potential. And their parents, the original dreamers, let's make sure that they stay here as well on a path to citizenship, contributing all they've got to this city's, this state's, and this country's greatness, and the millions who labor in the shadows, the most back-breaking work that man can invent, Let's pull them out into the sunshine. Let's allow them to live with dignity for themselves and their families. Let's ensure that their genius remains here in the United States, making us a stronger, a safer, and a more successful country by their very presence. And to the legitimate concerns about security and safety, knowing full well that the vast majority of everyone and everything that ever comes to the United States crosses through one of our ports of entry. To end the scourge of illegal drug trafficking and the trafficking in human beings, let's invest in the infrastructure, the technology, and the personnel at the ports of entry to improve our quality of life and make this a safer country. And then let's do this. The words that we use have extraordinary power. When we describe asylum seekers as though they were animals, when we refer to immigrants as an invasion, when we conflate dreamers with members of MS-13, not only are we spreading lies and committing an injustice, but the policies and the practices that follow should not surprise us. When we take little children, babies, from their mothers and fathers here at the US-Mexico border at their most desperate moment, when we put that child in a cage, turn that parent over to the Department of Justice, then to ICE for deportation, commit cruelty, tantamount to torture upon that young child, it follows the rhetoric that we use. Let's make sure that we refer to our human beings, our fellow human beings, with kindness, with respect, with dignity. Let's not be afraid of our own shadow or of who we are. Let's own this moment and the future and show the country there is nothing to be afraid of when it comes to the US-Mexico border. In other words, let's make sure that our laws, our language, and our leaders reflect our values, who we are, our experience, what we know, to do great things for this country. Because I tell you what, I know that we can do it, and I know that we must do it. The eyes of history, the judgment of the people of the future, our kids and grandkids and the generations that will succeed them are looking back at this moment to see what we do as we define ourselves and this country. I know that we have the power because I've seen it before. On Father's Day of this last year, when we learned that this president was taking kids, taking babies from their moms and dads, all of us came down to Tornillo to bear witness, to testify to our fellow Americans about what was being done in their name. And together, we were able to stop that cruel practice. As kids remained locked up in Tornillo, knowing not when or even if they were going to see that mom and dad who risked everything, including their lives for that little kid, so many of you kept vigil outside those gates to make sure that the rest of the country understood what was happening. You formed the pressure that developed the political will to put an end to it. And as of tonight, Tornillo is closed and out of business. There's not a single child there anymore. And you made it happen. And when ICE, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. On Christmas Eve, when you learned that these asylum seekers held by CBP, turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, had been dumped at the Greyhound bus station in downtown El Paso, without a single dime on them, with no food to eat, with little kids who were sick and needed help and medical attention. You all came downtown on Christmas Eve. You brought your families with you. You showed the kindness and the generosity which distinguishes El Paso and will every single day going forward. So at this moment, if there's any doubt about whether together we can make a stand the generations that follow us will be grateful for, have no doubt. We have done it before. We are made of great stuff. This community produces great people. We are the example that the United States of America needs right now. Desde aquí, yo veo el futuro de este país, la promesa de este país, tan poderosa, tan positiva, y yo tengo tanto orgullo ser paseño fronterizo con ustedes. This is where we make our stand, and there's no other place I'd rather be, and no one else I'd rather do it with. I love you, El Paso. The country's counting on us. Let's do it. Love you, El Paso. Jim Ward and Emily Davis to follow. We'll see you out there.
Yes, a rabbi sold out to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation and triumphantly. So I think to sing these songs of freedom. It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption songs.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can starve the tide. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Oh, pirates, yes, they rabbi sold out to the merchant ship. And minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit.
Our prophets, while we stand aside and look. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever have. Redemption songs. Redemption songs. Redemption songs. Redemption songs. Thanks very much. Emily Davis.
Very glad to be a part of this. I was born and raised in El Paso, lifelong citizen. And I love everyone here, and I thank you for coming out and supporting what's right. No borders, we are all one. I wrote this song about this very issue, so it's called Host. The burdens we unevenly bear are often scoffed in stereo blare. Tender ego of this hour's host is supposed to serve as more than mere anecdote. A raging fire I can't quell burns within this mortal shell, turns me from the center where compromise is rarely ever shared. These arguments, absurd as they are tired, are tried, rehashed, and always uninspired. Stares discrimination in the face and callously suggests it's not about race. The narratives he permeates are lies that self-perpetuate. Don't shield yourself gazing at the depths of the damage done, 'cause there's more to come. We're spiraling towards a frightening collision. For in that can we make the decision to side with those weighed down by their bigger share, shouldering the burdens we unevenly bear. We're coming up on a dividing line. I swear to God I wanna be on the right side. When the dust has cleared, you'll find us there, standing on the burdens we unevenly bear. Standing on the burdens we unevenly bear. Thank you guys. Jim Ward. Thanks, Jim, for having me. Y'all have a good one.
Can you guys do me a favor, please? When you leave here or when you interact with people that aren't like you, will you just please be gentle and kind? Because that's where we are from. started bleeding. West Texas floods so far, few between. And tonight was red, girl. You see just what I mean. Everything is down. We fell in love. You set me up, knock me down. Listen to clouds, brought the sky to ground. You set me up, knock me down. You knock me down. Short by fame, and this ramming by fame. We searched the world over and found the soul same. West Texas love is far few between. And tonight was red, girl. You see just what I mean. Everything is down. We fell in love. Set me up, knock me down. This sky cloud brought the sky to ground. Set me up, knock me down. Set round expense to all, biscuit and all, and it's same time good to be true. Fight to get you nowhere. Fight to get you nowhere. And it seemed too good to be true. I love you very much.
Are you still here, El Paso? El Paso, repite conmigo. Repeat after me. No somos uno. No somos 100. Somos un chingo. Cuéntanos bien. El Paso, mi nombre es Oscar Silva. Soy el director ejecutivo de Battleground Texas, a grassroots organization that works to organize and bring power to marginalized communities so that Texas can be competitive for us too. Pero aún más importante, yo soy paseño y paisano suyo. Voy a hablar bien brevemente y vamos a pasar la fiesta, ¿ok? El Paso, we are here for a very important mission, and that is to celebrate the richness, the safety, and the light of our city of El Paso. Aquí en El Paso, we are tercos, we are stubborn about our values. We cherish immigrants. We believe in hope. Racism does not have a home here. And we will always fight for opportunity. So El Paso, I'm here today to join you in saying we have one more important step to take before we pass it on to La Pachanga. And that's the next step. Raise your hand if you are already registered to vote. Heck yeah. Un chingo. Raise your hand if you're gonna register to vote tonight. There are a bunch of volunteers from Battleground Texas and from Voto Latino registering people to vote or updating your information. That's my ask for you today. If you're already registered to vote or planning on voting, or if you can't vote for any reason, my most urgent ask is that you don't leave tonight without coming up to one of these organizations and signing up to volunteer, because this doesn't end here. Aquí comienza. It begins here. Border Network for Human Rights, El Paso Women's March, our ASL team, the El Paso Democratic Party, and over 50 more organizations that have put this together. Go to them, become involved. El Paso, antes de que lo pase, just want to say, let's not forget our values. We need to hug them more than any time today. We need to remain committed to them. And we need to celebrate them, which is what we're doing today. So without further ado, I want to say, let me pass it for a wonderful sing-along led by Radio La Chusma and over 50 musicians that they've assembled. We're going to join them in a sing-along, and then we're going to party. Okay, El Paso? El Paso de mi corazón!
Yeah, El Paso, how's it going? One more monitor, please. We are all El Paso musicians united. As you can see, we're all here together with one cause, to show the love and to show the beauty of our town. So yeah, I'd like to thank all the organizers that put this together, the Women's March, the Border Network. Yeah, we're going to do a little get up, stand up, so why don't y'all sing along with us too, huh?